Hey everyone! Today we are going to be sewing the Fibi Foldover from Oro Rosa Patterns. It is so cute. Oh, the little folds are actually zipper pockets. You see these? It's sneaky. This pattern is so much fun. There is so many pockets in here. Like you'll have organization 4 days. You got another one on the back. And the inside, there is a slip pocket as well. This pattern is fabulous. I love it so much. This is my second one now. If you have any questions on this, feel free to drop them below. And I hope you love this thing as much as me. I'm going to start by making the marks on the top trims as she indicates in the pattern. I cut a little notch so I can tell where my center is, and I'm going to extend my line. As you can see, I've got a fancy magnet. That magnet I'm going to install probably at the end, but I'm going to make my holes for it now, like she says. So I've got that top one marked. This is the back trim. This is the one that you'll see on the front after it flips over. So it's going to attach to the back, and then it'll fold over like so. So when I do my magnet, I'm going to want it to go this way, which is upside down on the top trim. I'm going to go ahead and mark the front top trim as well, and then I'll be back. Okay, so my back trim is done. I just have the holes cut because I'm going to use this other snap. My front trim is done, and the upper front is also done. Let's go ahead and grab our 6 zipper tabs and fold them in half, wrong sides together, and iron each one. Okay, go ahead and put your pulls on every zipper, and then grab your 9.5 and your 2 11-inch zippers and all those tabs we just folded. We're going to keep them folded and put each tab on the raw end of each zipper tape that I've stated. And we're going to sew with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. We'll fold over and then top stitch. I'm going to go ahead and use a 4 stitch length and a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, and I'm going to chain stitch these, back stitching at the beginning and end. Then you'll just take that folded edge and wrap it back and then around that raw edge. Get that as snugly as possible on there so you can keep your zipper length the same. And then we'll top stitch at an 1/8 of an inch, and we'll repeat for all of them. I'll use a 5 stitch length. Okay, go ahead and grab that last zipper tape now, and we'll put a lining piece on the bottom of each end with the raw edges pointing in towards the center of the zipper tape. And then we'll put the exterior right side together on both ends. Then we will stitch 3/8 of an inch and then top stitch. For these, I like to start in the center of my zipper teeth and back stitch here and then come up and over. Repeat on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and trim just the exterior on the zipper ends on both sides. Then I'll fold both pieces back and we'll top stitch down that folded seam. I'll use an 1/8 of an inch and a 5.5 stitch length here since I'm switching to my suede. Go ahead and grab your connectors and your strap. Mark a center line down both, and then put double-sided tape down both as well. For the connector, you're just going to fold your raw edges in to meet the center. For the strap, you will do that, and then you'll fold it one more time to hide the raw edges. So pretty much the same thing as the connector, like that, and then one more fold for the strap. I'm just going to show you the connectors for now and do the strap off screen. We'll do both the connectors, and now we're going to top stitch with 1/8 of an inch seam allowance down both long sides. I'll do the same thing and chain stitch again, and I'll keep with my 5.5 stitch length. Go ahead and repeat for the strap and top stitch down both long edges, but remember you are encasing your raw edge, so you just need to fold that connector for the strap once more in half, and then you'll top stitch both long edges. Now that your strap is top stitched, go ahead and insert one raw edge up and over the center bar of your slider. Fold it over and mark, and we'll punch a hole. Then go ahead and install your rivet. I'm going to use a Chicago screw here, so I'm just going to screw mine in, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, go ahead and grab the other raw edge and slide your swivel on, making sure you're putting it on the right direction. Then slide the raw edge of your strap back up and over your center bar, and then put your last swivel on, fold it over and make a mark. Install your rivet at your mark. Then separate everything into packs. Okay, let's go ahead and grab our lower front pocket and the 2 lower front pocket linings, plus your 11-inch zipper. On the shorter of the 2 lining pieces, go ahead and put your zipper right side up with the right side of the zipper tab on the right side, so it closes to the right. Then we'll baste this on at 1/8 of an inch. My dog's now laying in front of my tripod, so sorry for the angle. We are going to take this now and the exterior, put it right sides together, and we're going to stitch this on at 3/8 of an inch along those 2 long straight edges. I'm going to stitch from my exterior side with a 3.5 stitch length, back stitching at the beginning and the end, and moving my zipper pull when it gets close. Then we'll go ahead and pull the lining away from the exterior, and we're going to top stitch on the lining side only when we catch the seam. So fold it back like that, give it a little finger press or press it with your iron, and then we'll top stitch. I'll use 1/8 of an inch and a 5 on the cotton woven here. Okay, go ahead and flip that to the back like so. Grab your other lining piece, match up the 2 right sides of your lining, flip everything over, and then we're going to baste the zipper to this top straight edge as well. Go ahead and flip this piece up like so. We can trim the rest of the seam now. Keep this laid like this, where it's open. All of this is this way. We're going to flip it open like that, and we're going to stitch all the way around these sides right here. We're going to start in that tiny bit of zipper tape and end on the tiny bit of zipper tape, but don't go into your stitching up here. Don't go into that stitching. Just start at the end. Start at the right after that stitching. Okay, can you see how I'm a little bit into the zipper tape, but not onto that back stitch line? I'm going to use a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and a 3.5 stitch length around here. I'm only going to go to right before this last stitch line. Okay, you can go ahead and trim all the way around, avoiding your edges here so you don't catch your zipper tape or anything. So this is what it looks like from this side. If you flip it over, it looks like this from the other side. You have a little bit of a gap right here on both sides. That's okay. And this is from the front. Your lower front pocket is done right now. This next step is only if you want to add a tag here. So you can fold it around the top part of your stabilizer and you can clip it. This will be how it gets. You won't see that zipper at all when you're looking at the front of your bag. So this is what it'll look like. And you can position your tag on here if you'd like. I ended up doing it about 1 inch up from the darts and about 2 inches in from this curved edge. Okay, you can unclip that piece, grab your next pack, find your hashtag side and match it up to your zipper. The two hashtag sides match up. Right sides together. We'll sew it with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Again, I'm going to be sewing from the exterior side with a 3.5 stitch length. I'll go ahead and trim my exterior seam. We'll go ahead and fold that back and top stitch just between the two zipper ends. I'm going to go back to my 5.5 here and back stitch at the beginning and end 1 stitch. Okay, this part's a little tricky, so you're going to want to go ahead and fold your two exteriors right sides together. And the zipper pocket is facing towards you as well. We're going to use this lower pocket and the stabilizer here. And from this end of the stabilizer, this side, we're going to measure down 1/4 of an inch. And we're going to make a line for 1 inch. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. Okay, we're going to sew that together right there on that 1 inch line, back stitching at the beginning and end well. Make sure to go down to your regular stitch length, 3.5 for me, and then repeat on the other side. Okay, so here's what this looks like now when the pocket's facing you. If you flip it over away from you, this is what it looks like. And then with the pocket facing you, you're going to put a rivet on the non-Decaville side, but closest to the Decaville, we're going to put a rivet. So closest to the raw edge, that'll be a rivet. We're going to do the same thing on this side. So it's right here on this Decaville light side, but it's actually closer to you towards the pocket. Make sense? Punch your holes, install your rivets. You may need a scrap of Peltex or foam to thicken up that piece right there, but try to cut it in a circle around your rivet so it doesn't get in the way later. Okay, so this is what you have now when the pocket's looking at you from the other side. And this is what it looks like from the outside now. That should fold over right at your Decaville and look all pretty. Okay, let's move on to this middle pocket. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing we did before. Put this to the side. Take the shorter of the two pockets. Yours 11-inch zipper. Right side up on your zipper goes to the right side of this. You want your zipper on the right side. Baste it. Then we'll add it to this piece like we did before and stitch, and then we'll top stitch on the lining side only. Still carrying on as we did previously, we're going to put the larger pocket right sides together with the smaller pocket. We'll base this one on and then stitch around the bottom of the pocket like we did previously. Okay, just like we did in the last pocket, we're going to come up to our zipper, match the two triangle edges, and clip them together and sew with 3/8 of an inch. Then we'll top stitch between the two zipper ends. This is the second time I've ran out of bobbin in almost this exact same spot. So if you hate running out of bobbin and trying to finish your stitches again, change your bobbin before you start top stitching this one. I'm just going to start in the hole I left off and pull my threads to the back. Okay, again, taking your shorter of the two pockets, we're on the upper front pocket now. You are going to put your zipper right side up on the right side of your lining with the pull to the right. We're going to baste it on. And then again, we're going to put this to the top side, matching our hearts. And we'll sew it on with 3/8 of an inch seam. Okay, I've gone ahead and trimmed my exterior seam, top stitched on my lining side. We'll flip it to the back and put the longer lining piece right sides together with the lining pocket, and then we'll baste it on. And then just like before, we'll go ahead and stitch all the way around. Make sure you don't sew past that top zipper seam right there. Okay, this is what we have so far. Go ahead and grab your next pack. Okay, we're going to work with this zipper and the front top trim. I'm going to fold my zipper tape in half and mark just a little teeny mark on the top of the zipper where my seam already is. So I like in between my stitch line so I don't see that later. Then we'll go ahead and have the center marked on the front piece. You're going to use the heart edge and match them up right sides together, centered, and then we'll stitch this at 3/8 of an inch seam. You'll only need to go in between the zipper ends. I'm going to sew from my lining side this time so I can see where to start and stop. I went ahead and trimmed my exterior side just in between where the zipper tape is. We'll go ahead and fold this to the top and we'll top stitch along this edge in between just the zipper ends. All right, go ahead and take your lower pocket and put these darts right side together like so. And clip, and we'll sew together at 3/8 of an inch. And do the same thing on the other one. Just pinch them right sides together and then sew. And then you can trim your seam and repeat for the other side. So that's what it looks like now. I am not going to top stitch my folds. Feel free to if you want. I'm just going to go ahead and clip my fold down here and here. Then fold this piece across the top and clip it down. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to pull my edges in just a little bit so we can have a tiny bit of pocket gap. Well, pocket gape rather. So it doesn't collapse in on itself. See my smidge overlap there? It's not very much at all. And then we'll do it one more time up at the top. And then we'll baste those 3. All right, so this is what we have now. All my zippers are also pulled about halfway to 1/4 of the way in, so I don't hit those later. Go ahead and add your sew-in tag to the main lining if you're going to do that. Then add double-sided tape to your slip pocket towards the raw edges on your lines you drew earlier. So you want the double-sided tape closer to those short raw edges here. Then we'll take that double-sided tape off of both sides and fold it down to meet that edge. And press that down well. Repeat on the other side. Go ahead and flip that piece right side up. Grab your slip pocket trims and match up those long raw edges. Then repeat for the other side, and we'll sew down both long edges at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Go ahead and trim those edges. Press that exterior out and top stitch along the exterior side. Now we're going to run a strip of double-sided tape along this raw edge of the of the slip pocket on both sides. You want it right next to the edge of that raw edge. You don't want it all the way up on there. So my 2 stitch lines and then the double-sided tape, because you're going to take this off and fold your raw edges to meet that other raw edge. I'm going to do this slip pocket just a little bit differently because this was the original test pattern and I forgot to extend my trim. So I've got a little bit of raw edges from my actual pocket. I'm going to cover those up with rivets later, so they won't be exposed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to top stitch across that open folded area we have. Okay, again, this is just my version because I have a little oopsie. So you don't have to do this part. You actually keep those raw edges of your slip pocket trim towards the bottom and you don't top stitch at all. Okay, I've gone ahead and centered my slip pocket where she indicates in the pattern, and I've added a hang tag inside my slip pocket as well. And then we'll top stitch around here, the 3 sides. Remember, your raw slip pocket edges are facing the bottom of your bag. Okay, so this is what mine looks like so far. Remember, your raw edges are going to be down at the bottom, not like mine. Also, your rivets will be centered in your side strip instead of close to the edges like mine as well. And I ended up putting a piece of Peltex behind each of my rivets. Okay, grab your last chunk of packs. Fold the shorter of the 2 lining pieces in half and find the center. And I'm just going to put a small clip. And then with the zipper, I'm going to fold the 2 edges right sides together. Find the center and make a small mark again with my pen. Try to keep it out of the seam allowance. You're going to put your zipper right side up again on the right side of your lining fabric. This is the short one again. And you're going to center your zipper tape on there with the zipper pulled to the right still, like we've done so far. And then we'll go baste this on. Grab the exterior back pocket, lay it right sides together. centering it, and sew with 3/8 of an inch seam. Again, I've trimmed my exterior edge where we sewed the zipper on, but not the zipper. Actually folded wrong sides together, and we're going to top stitch across the seam. Go ahead and flip your back pocket over and take your other lining piece, put it right sides together, match up your edges again, and then we'll base this side onto the exterior as well. Keeping with the same thing we did before, go ahead and flip this pocket up, clip them together, and then this time we're going to stop right where the curves stop so we can turn through our pocket. Okay, go ahead and start in that zipper tab, but don't go past it. Go ahead and trim your curved edges, but not your unsewn edges. Go ahead and mark the center of your zipper tape and your zipper trim if you haven't already. Then match these up right sides together. We're going to clip and then sew at 3/8 of an inch. Go ahead and trim that exterior like we did. Flip up and top stitch. For the connector, I'm going to put a strip of double-sided tape up and down at 1 1/8 of an inch, so I can keep it out of my seam and not use a whole bunch of double-sided tape, but also still hold it together where it's supposed to be held. So like so. And we'll put the connectors where indicated in the pattern, making sure we leave our 1/2 inch overhang as she states. Then we'll base these on. Go ahead and grab your back pocket trim and the long side and match it up, and we'll sew this together at 3/8 of an inch seam. I'm going to go ahead and stitch one more time over my connectors. Okay, I went ahead and trimmed the top trim side. We'll open this up and top stitch along the zipper trim side. So here's my back so far. I'm going to grab the main lining that I want on the back, which is my slip pocket, and we're going to put it right sides together and stitch with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then we'll do the same thing with the front one. Okay, we're going to go ahead and top stitch across the lining side. I went ahead and installed my custom magnet already. I probably should have waited because it's going to give me a little bit of a hard time here, but I'll get it. So we're going to go ahead and match up our 2 exteriors and our 2 liners, and we're going to do it by starting matching up these seams at the top of the lining and the exterior. And then I'm going to go do the other side. Go ahead and match the lining sides up and clip around. And then I'll match the exteriors all the way around. And I'll leave my linings pockets out. I don't want to clip those in. So let's go sew with a 3/8 of an inch all the way around. Go ahead and trim all the way around, and then turn your bag right side out through the hole in your lining. At this point, you might be a little scared that you have done this wrong, but it's okay. You're right. Okay, make sure all your curves are pushed out, and we're going to tuck this in. You're going to end up needing to make sure it folds at that stabilizer line, not just in. Mine like helped do that because I had this magnet installed already, but then it'll match up here, and then these 2 here will match. There's your pretty little bag. Okay, but first we have to sew that zipper pocket shut. So pull it out, tuck it in, and we'll top stitch. I'm going to use a 5 stitch length and 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Go ahead and tuck that in, get your strap, and she's finished. You all did it. Great job. This is such a fun little bag. I love it. I hope you had fun. I'll see you next time. Bye.